On episode 4 of Teachers Talk Live, we have Nicole Maguire, Doug Robertson, Chris Thomas discussing crowdfunding, grants, and more. I'm your host, Oscar Cielo Staten. Our video version is available at teachcow.com.
Today, September 30, 2015, we are talking about crowdfunding, grants, anything else that helps out teachers. We're going to explore it today. We have a really cool panel, so we're just going to go ahead and get started with Nicole.
Hi.
Go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Nicole Maguire. I teach 4th grade in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I got one donor's shoes funded.
Very cool. And next up we have Doug.
Hey, my name is Doug Robertson. If you've ever seen me on a Twitter chat, you know I'm the bombastic rockstar frontman of a never-ending education funk machine. I'm at the Weird Teacher on Twitter, and I teach 5th grade in Northern Oregon, up near Portland.
This guy's
and
awesome.
I've done 2 donors' chooses so far, which is what we're talking about tonight.
All right. And next up we have Chris.
Hello, good evening to you. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm Chris from the UK, and I'm actually a school governor. I'm not a teacher, so I'm breaking the trend.
Oh, wow.
I support a school called Westcliff Primary School. It's in the small town of Dawlish, a little seaside town southwest of England. And so I'm here to share a recent experience, a radio fundraising experience that the pupils led, in all honesty. It was very much their thing, so and like I said, pleased to be here. So nice to meet you guys as well.
You too.
Nice.
What's the American equivalent of a school governor?
Thank you.
It's a governing body, so do you not have them in the States?
Is it like a school board?
A board, yeah, it is essentially that, yeah. So the way it would operate, would have the teachers, the school leadership team, and then you have the heads, and then there'd be a governing body, essentially a committee, who oversee the school and act on behalf of the government and the inspectors, etc., on a day-to-day basis, and just make sure everything's happening as it should do. Are you familiar with that?
So it sounds like a more involved board.
Okay.
Sounds very cool. Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming on. Thank you all for coming on. Let's go ahead and begin the discussion. So our talk is all about anything having to do with getting funded for teachers, and what I hope that we get out of it is that whoever, through our audience, we can get some ideas on how to get stuff funded, how to get donors choose projects off the ground and anything like that. So just go ahead and tell me about your experiences with crowdfunding. We hear about donors choose. If there's anything else as well, welcome that. So Nicole, tell us what you got done.
I got 3 Chromebooks funded with in my classroom. I set up the Donors Choose project under advisory from my mentor, because she has done numerous ones. She's done like 8, 9, 10. She gets them funded like really quickly, and so I was looking to her for some tricks and tips, as it was my first one. So I'm happy to share with some that I successfully did it in under a week, because I was so lucky. Donors Choose sometimes does things where they'll have anonymous donors that will match donations for a short period of time, or they'll do like half off of your project. So, or there's also Donors Choose has like special projects that if like in your state you can, if you do a certain type of project, they will give like extra money towards it. So try to look for those types of like promotions that are happening to make your Donors Choose project a little bit cheaper. So my Donors Choose project, because every donation was matched, someone could donate $100, and then what do I want to say? Like a anonymous. I was gonna say mysterious. anonymous donor could then would match that extra $100. So it's kind of like doubling all of your donations without even doing anything.
Nice. Doug, could you tell us if I'm a teacher and I've never done a Donors Choose project before, is that a scary process? Like, how do I go about it?
I think it's a scary process, mostly because it's jumping into something unfamiliar. It's one of those things that a lot of teachers, for me personally, don't get nervous about doing new stuff very much. So going into a Donors Choose project wasn't nerve-wracking for me. As far as trying to do something new, as much as it was, my biggest hang-up with doing it was asking people for money. I didn't like the idea of I'm going to go to my friends and I'm going to go to my family and I'm going to be like, can I have some money? It's not for me, it's for my students, but I know that you're a teacher, don't have any money either.
Right.
So that was kind of my barrier to it, and a friend of mine named Jess Lifshitz had done a Donors Choose, and she was like, dude, you got to do it, it's great, and I really trust her. So because of her encouragement, I finally got on the website and set one up, and it was actually really easy to set up. My first one, I didn't write it quite right, so they kicked it back to me, I think, twice, like, you got to be more specific in this area, and you have to write more about this thing. But once I fine-tuned it, and then they put it up, and then it was just a matter of getting over being scared of asking people for money, and trusting that this is not money for me. This is money for my kids.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to take it.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a sensitive thing. My experience with Donors Choose was that I was not afraid at all to ask for money. I was just like, this is for some iPads that I need for my classroom. So if you believe in teaching, if you believe in what I'm doing, then step up. You know, that's the attitude I took with it, and a lot of people did. A lot of my friends did. So, and people that I didn't know stepped up and contributed, and every little bit helped.
And I was pleasantly surprised with that too. How many people were just like, "Yeah, totally, we'll give you $10.
Yeah.
We'll give you $15." Like, oh, okay, I didn't have to be worried about it.
Right. Right.
Can I just dive in? Donors Choose. This is a website. Is this what you're talking about here? It's not something I've come across before.
DonorsChoose.org.
Okay.
Check it out.
Do it now.
Tell us what. Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
Oh, sorry. I just had a question. So with your second one, did you find that the same people were donating, or did you have to find a whole new slew of people to donate?
My second one, I didn't post my second one on Twitter for about 2 days because I spent a lot of time trying to find a business that would support. I emailed like literally every business in Gresham, which is where I live. Like, come on, give me some money. I know you have money and it's tax deductible. And nobody got back to me. So then I went on Twitter and started asking, and it was a bigger project than my first one. My first one was $800, and I'll talk about if we want to get into what exactly I was raising the money for. And this one was $1,300, so it took longer to raise the money. But I think mostly it was the same people.
Yeah.
That donated in the end. Yeah.
I think that's where some fear comes from, is thinking like, okay, if one person donates, then I can't do another one because I've already used them for their money, kind of deal.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you were. That's why I'm not going to do another one this year unless I can find another source of revenue, because I've already tapped that once, and I don't want to go back to that well again.
Yeah. By the way, you guys, I just want to say that if you're watching this on teachcow.com, you may chat with us live. There's a chat window on the right. Just press it. It opens up, and we may be able to see your comments. We have Kindergarten Rocks. She is watching, or he, and she said, I have had 76 DC Donors Choose projects funded. I also run a giving page to help other teachers. Oh, that's really cool.
That is cool.
So tell us about it. Yeah, definitely tell us about it. There's someone else that says, I was approached by the PTO for my school for 20 graphing calculators. Got them in 1 week. Parents just asked me what I needed, and I told them. They said they would work to get them. So that's cool.
I think that's helpful. If you have parents that do have the resources to support your class, let them know that you're trying to raise money for your class. In every single my emails, my link to my Donors Choose page is in the signature, so it's accessible at any time. And even if you don't have a running project, people can still like donate money to you and give you a gift card.
That's a really cool feature of it.
I didn't realize they could do that.
Yeah.
So, Chris, tell us about your experiences in getting stuff funded.
Well, I started a project about, it would have been a few years ago, 2012, started a radio project and wanted to find some funding for that. And I tried the usual Kickstarter and all the other crowdfunding sites. Quickly realized that very similar to what you're mentioning there, is it's difficult to ask people for money if you don't have, I guess, almost a community around you, which in this instance I didn't really. So, yeah, so that was my first experience of any sort of raising any money. But more recently, and the more I've worked with Westcliff Primary School, that's when sort of things, the tides turned basically, particularly with the radio fundraiser. So fast forward from 2012 to now. Project has grown. Can I just divulge myself and show you a couple of things? Okay, just good.
Yeah.
Detail here. Okay, it's screen share. Let's find it on there somewhere.
While you're doing that, go ahead and keep doing that. But I just want to let everyone know, Kindergarten Rocks shared the link to her giving page, and apparently this page is one that is used to help other teachers. So I'm going to put that in the show notes as well. And Kindergarten Rocks, if you could tweet that out with EduLive, I will go ahead and retweet it as well so that teachers can have access to it. So, okay, so Chris is sharing.
So at the moment, I'm sharing the Westcliff Primary School blog, and basically what happened was we set up a studio of sorts in the school, and it was very, very simple, sort of a couple of microphones, a mixer, and a laptop, and it was internet radio. This is what we're working with. And the children wanted to do a 24-hour live broadcast and approach local businesses and have them support the broadcast by purchasing adverts. So this was the idea. We're going to sell airtime effectively, and in doing that, and also doing the online, whilst they're actually broadcasting, asking listeners to put money into to donate money, they raised quite a substantial amount, £3,300 to be exact.
Wow. So
it was a very successful 24 hours. And if I just flip across to the Twitter page for the actual event itself. This is Dawlish, by the way, this little area here.
Oh, nice.
This is Dawlish in the morning. As we go back, you see all the children. There's 12 children, I believe. So they all got locked in school, and a dedicated hub was set up for them. So the kids were sent off into there to sleep when they needed to. And it was all them. They were on air for a full 24 hours, and it started off right at the beginning of the school day with a school assembly. So all the children were singing with the head teacher and all the other teachers there, and then each classroom throughout the school day came down and then presented something they had prepared for their listeners. And it was such an amazing event. It was so good. And I was very, very proud to be involved in it. We even had David Cameron on the phone with us as well.
No way.
Yeah, the real David Cameron, not the Prime Minister. There's somebody on Twitter, very well known.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really, really good. Lots of comments came through all day. We had a guest DJ from a local radio station. She came down to the school and then stepped in front of the microphone and took control for about an hour or so, I think. We had a live lounge as well. So former students who had gone off to high school had come back, and they were singing and playing guitars and so on. So yeah, it was just an immense experience. It really was, and it all started. I said from this one child who said that we could use our school radio station to raise money. Now I've got a few samples if I can play some for you. It's a bit low tech, I'm afraid. So to give you an example of what the children made for their radio station, this is one of their jingles.
Your favorite hits.
I already know what it is.
My name is Carly Rae Jepsen.
What up? It is yours truly, Jason.
I'm Ellie Goulding.
Watch it, Pam. Every day I'm shuffling.
Online, on your mobile phone, and on demand. This is Press F Rocks.
That's brilliant, isn't it? And they made that all by themselves and just basically gave them a template, and then they just edited it around using free software. Everything was done using free software, so it didn't actually cost the school anything to get started and to do this event, because they didn't have a fitted studio. In fact, that was the whole point of raising the money, was that they wanted a multimedia suite. They wanted a radio studio and an area where they can create films and commercials and all sorts. Yeah. I'll play you one of the adverts that were made as well. So this is one of the companies who sponsored the event.
Are you okay? I'm not feeling so good, Harriet. Dawlish Town's alternative shopping experience. You feel that? Crystals? Just hold on to them. And explore the world of myth, magic, and legend.
What is this place?
I don't know. The realm of Maidagon. Available 5 days a week, Tuesday to Saturday.
No, keep running, Harriet. I can't run anymore. I need to rest.
You must get up quick. It's closing soon. The realm of Maidagon. A new world awaits you.
So these adverts, they're good, aren't they? They're so good. Can you hear them okay, by the way? Sorry.
Yes.
It's just a bit low tech. Just hold the phone out to the microphone. So most of these businesses were sort of paying anything from a suggested donation, minimum donation was £10, but they paid more than that. In all honesty, they were happy to put money forward. They thought it was a great idea, and they're happy to get involved. This is one of my favourite adverts. This was made using a very, very simple script of sound effects, basically.
Oh no, the conservatory's leaking again. What are we gonna do? I don't know. I know how to fix it. Visit www.warmerservices.co.uk.
Warmer windows, doors and conservatories on Exeter Road, Dawlish. A happy house is a warmer house.
The family business.
And that was the key point there, the fact that it was a family business. These are all. Dawlish is a small town. It's tiny. So, you right?
Oh no, I just wanted to say how innovative. That's what you guys are doing is really cool.
It's.
I mean, you are giving something back to the people in order for their donations. That is so cool.
It was. That was kind of why when it was literally an 8-year-old child who came up with this, because I was running the radio club at the time with a laptop and its microphones is fumbling around. So that was all the equipment that we had. So, one laptop and a microphone, and I could see the genius inside these children, what the potential of what they could achieve. So that's when I was like, we really need to give them some some good equipment and give them a real studio to work with. But there was no money for it. I mean, that's not the sort of thing that funded, let's be honest. So when it was suggested, this child said, "Oh, we could sell airtime," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, you could. That's actually a really good idea."
That is so awesome. That is so awesome.
And I loved throughout the whole entire process. It's very entrepreneurial for the children. So, and I was quite concerned, like when we talked about how to make adverts, that it was going to have to be very much sort of me steering them. But the reality was, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think as children we're kind of commercialized, aren't we? We're taught to be consumers. Right. So it's very easy to then flip that around. So after they pretty much modeled their adverts on whatever they were hearing and seeing around them in the real world. So they were able to take ideas from that and base them on that. So the local business got behind it there and supported it. The local community, all the parents and teachers absolutely adored it, and they got behind the whole event as well. So it was really, really good. I mentioned about it being very low tech, just one microphone and a laptop. The reason that we're able to do that is we're using a resource called, let's go up to here, My Life School. So My Life School is basically a free educational resource, and this is the project that I started in 2012. I was very aware that there was a gap, basically, certainly here in the UK, and I know it's some parts of the States it's actually written into law where you can't, if you're making, say, for example, podcasts or live radio, you can't use websites that are age restricted. So it has to be content regulated, and we've got the same problem here. The problem is all the content regulated sites in the UK are very expensive. So I wanted to create a free resource for teachers, and it was My Life School. So and this is how they broadcast, and using just one laptop and a microphone. Again, everything's free of charge. They just connect and go live on air. And the way it works is that schools actually go live on air back to back. So it's a shared resource. So, for example, there's one channel, and then each school can. There.
So I think it would be fair to say, Chris, that you haven't needed Donors Choose.
No, it didn't. We started off because it was all completed inside a term. In hindsight, we could have done with two.
Right.
It was a lot to try and squeeze it inside such a few weeks. Let me just see what there. Go back to there. Ding.
And you're back.
Hi, hello again.
Yeah, you're back.
So it was all completed inside a term. In hindsight, we've been better off to allow a lot more time for to prepare things and get everything in place. It did get a little bit stressful at times because of the logistics. I mean, there's 283 pupils in that primary school, so the logistics of organising every single child to come down in front of the microphones at a certain time with content to broadcast. You can imagine teachers got enough to do throughout the day. Oh, by the way, you need to make 30 minutes of audio. It has to be live. So that put pressure on people, but the end result was it worked, and they did a fantastic job. So. Yeah, very, very.
So, Chris, how can Nicole do this in her classroom?
I know. I'm super intrigued. I'm already like, oh my gosh, I need to.
Can you teach us
all that? Because I think that's fantastic. I think it sounds like something that one of my students tried to do, I guess, last year a little bit with a Genius Hour project. He tried to take on his own type of podcast radio show, and I just upload them to YouTube for him. But I think that this is really cool to get everyone interacted and then make it a way to raise money.
Right.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well,
how do you start small?
Start small. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen again. Just flip that over here. Let's start there. Okay. So the way it works is you go to the My Life School website. Is that screen sharing? Sorry.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so you go to the My Life School website, and the first thing you need to do is go to the free starter kits. And you click on here, and you enter in your email address. I have the world's slowest internet speed, so I apologise for that in advance. There. Ooh. And a microphone in the way.
So
sorry.
Oh, I see. So all of that stuff comes together once you download what you have from that website. So like all of the sound effects, everything that you need to create a radio show comes from that website.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is content that's been set up and donated to My Life School because it's all led by volunteers, not led by volunteers, led by teachers. There's a teaching community behind it, and they all talk about what they're doing in schools, sharing ideas, and it makes the preparation of their radio shows a much easier process because there's a lot of resources already pre-made. So it's not, no school is sort of stuck out by themselves. It's very much come together. We can make radio together and make our lives much easier. At the same time, the children get the best possible experience from the radio that they're making. So these are some of the things that have been set up. At the moment, we have sound effects packs here, which you can download, and then there's free software, and this is made by a guy called Jason Allen from Play It Live software.
Nice.
So you click on that, that will download, and then you install that. Yeah.
So I think that we definitely need to point people to mylifeschool.org because I think this is going to be a valuable resource for them. But I don't want to do a whole tutorial.
We'll
I don't
see.
want to take up too much time. But I definitely see how people need to go to mylifeschool.org, and we'll keep reminding them, so that Nicole sounds like she will be one of the first from the show to sign on, because I mean it's really cool. It just sounds it seems like a really cool thing to do. So and a great idea to give something back. You know, you want to fund you want to fill your classroom with tablets or whatever. You know, have your kids work on them to make it happen. So,
yeah, definitely. It's going back to what Doug was saying about it's tricky to ask for money, isn't it? And there's so many different causes out there, so many different charities. And I think ethically we sort of ask ourselves, is this the greatest charity in the world? What am I gonna? How am I gonna earn this? So
right. What I wanted to go on to was funding projects, funding things that we want to do. You can go to mylifeschool.org, but most people, if you haven't gotten to that point, most people use social media. So I wanted to talk a little bit about harnessing that, the social media to get as much coverage as possible and to get whatever projects you have going on off the ground, and making sure. So do you guys have any advice on how a teacher does that? And hitting up your friends is one thing, but hitting up strangers is another. Doug?
One of the things that I think made the first Donors Choose that I did really successful, and it funded in, I think, 24 hours. It funded really, really fast.
Wow.
Was that one was really unique, because I was trying to raise money to buy alternative seating for my kids. I decided last year that I hate the plastic chairs. That sit in, they're awful and they're uncomfortable. And I wanted, and again, this is an idea that I stole from Jess, I wanted beanbag chairs and wobble stools and all of these ways that the kids could sit that were not the regular chairs. So I went on Amazon and found a whole bunch and added them to my Donors Choose project. And then because of that uniqueness, that kind of that weird factor, I did not do that on purpose.
He is the weird teacher after all.
That's right. I think that drew people in, like, oh, this is not just some regular everyday thing. I think that made people a little more interested. And then what I did that I didn't do with the next one was I wrote a blog post about it that really, in detail, in depth, explained, this is why I'm doing this project. This is why this is going to be helpful. And I think by making it more personal and making it super explicit why I was raising the money, that made people more willing to go ahead and give. And then I hit up Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook, because Twitter is where I'm going to hit up all of my teacher friends. Google Plus is where I'm going to hang out, hit the 3 people that are on Google Plus. And then Facebook is where all of my friends who aren't teachers are going to see it. All my friends and family, they're going to see it, and they're going to be like, "Oh, we should help Doug because whatever." And a big part of it was emphasizing, kind of like Nicole was saying, Donors Choose will help you out. So like for both of my projects, they gave me a Spark code, and I don't know if they do that for every project or not. But I got an email from them that said if the people donate and they enter Spark, then we'll match their donation dollar for dollar up to $100.
Maybe they do that for everyone then, because like that's exactly what mine was.
Okay, so
and since I've only done one, I thought it was special.
Either way, it's cool, right?
But it's still a really nice thing for them to do. So there was lots of me going on Facebook saying, like, just give me $5 and then put in Spark, and I've got $10. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So I don't actually have to raise $800. I only have to raise $400, and all of you have to be smart enough to spell Spark every time you give me money. And so that, I think, made a huge difference when it came down to what I was trying to do. But I suggest if you're trying to do a Donors Choose, write a blog post and make it super personal. This is for my kids, and this is exactly why my kids need this.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, well, it's kind of what you're all about, Oscar. Sort of content marketing, isn't it? And
Right.
the more content you can get out there, the more you can support your projects. So keep sending out all those little web catchers, I guess, bring in
And
that
keep
traffic.
people informed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, keep people informed and engaged. Kindergarten Rocks on Twitter says that start small, and I think that's a really good idea to start small. With your projects, and I guess know your audience as well. Know who your audience is, and who can you actually hit up to give you money. So yeah. So you mentioned Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and come on, Google Plus is growing a little bit.
I know, but it's fun to make fun of.
It is a growing community. So. What else? What other places can teachers hit up?
I have a Tumblr account, so I used Tumblr. I don't think I don't know if I caught anything from Tumblr, but I mean, I'm gonna ask whoever.
Oh, okay.
I also put it on my Instagram. I screenshotted it and then just kind of created a picture of it to put it on Instagram because I have that's where a lot of teachers are too on Instagram. You might find as they're flipping through. And a lot of my friends, that's where they are, so they're going to respond quickly to Instagram rather than something that's just automatically posted to Facebook.
That's a really good point. And then you got to remember to put the link in your profile in Instagram rather than in the comments because it's not clickable in the comments, which is
annoying.
Yeah.
Right. Also, Pinterest. Does anyone use Pinterest for this?
Oh no, but that's a good idea because it just links right to it.
Yeah. Maybe, but who's watching Pinterest? Isn't it mostly teachers and moms?
I mean, I get it. Yeah. I use Pinterest to find recipes.
I don't know. Educate me. No, I think a lot of people use Pinterest. Varying interests. So, Kindergarten Rocks is being very generous with us since she helps out teachers with projects. She says Spark is only good for 2 projects a year. So
that's good to know.
Yeah, and watch the Donors Choose blog for special funding opportunities, match offers. So keep it coming, keep it coming. Tell us more. What else, you guys? As far as social media, anything social media that we have missed?
I think one of the major things that's important with social media, and this is kind of with social media in general, is to not oversaturate. I want to ask my Twitter feed for money. I want them to donate, but at the same time, they don't need a tweet from me every 2 hours. By the way, I still have a Donors Choose project. Don't forget, because they're we remember. You just did that. And if you do that too much, then your Twitter feed stops being interesting and starts being a commercial. And I personally am already right on that line because I want people to make sure that they know that I have 2 books. I have 2 books, by the way, podcast audience. He's the Word Teacher and the Teaching Text. You're welcome. You can find them on Amazon.
And we'll have a link to it on the show notes. So. Yeah, totally.
And then I'm the editor for the Q blog, blog.q.org. We just put up a post about International Podcast Day. So I'm constantly trying. I'm tweeting just education stuff, funny, whatever. And then I'm also by the way, we just put up a blog post, so here's that. By the way, I just put up a blog post on my own blog, so here's that. By the way, I have a Donors Choose. By the way, don't forget about my books. By the way, don't forget I have a chat. So, it's hard to keep all of those balls in the air and not sound like I'm just trying to sell you a thing.
Right.
So make sure when you're raising money for Donors Choose, trust that your audience saw that tweet, and you don't have to do it again.
Right. Would you guys see any and somebody doesn't really know Donors Choose that well, is there any value in going analog and sending out leaflets? Does that, put posters, does that work? Or because that's something we did for the 24 fundraisers, is make sure that people who weren't necessarily online could see it within their community. I mean, there were QR scanning and listening in on their mobile from various.
That's a really good idea. Like put a little poster up in Starbucks right by your school. That's cool.
That is, especially because I was thinking but the QR code, like that's an excellent idea, and that's probably like for me personally, if the one that I just got 6 Chromebooks. If that had taken longer to fund, then I probably would have gotten desperate and made posters. Like standing outside of Walmart. Here, will you throw this away, please?
Walmart is probably not your target audience. I don't know. I'm saying all sorts of things.
Quantity over quality, I guess.
Exactly.
For Walmart.
No,
I make enough copies. I could have just spent the money on Chromebooks myself.
Exactly.
That's a great idea, though. That brings me to that question. Like Chris is saying, leaflets and flyers and things like that. But where do you put them? Nicole is saying Starbucks, but every experience that I've had with Starbucks is no, we don't put that stuff up.
Oh, really? There's like the one by my house has like a community board that like everyone puts stuff up on. So,
yeah,
like,
and they take it down like a day later.
Oh, well, I'm not.
I mean,
well, the only thing I can think of is like, so when I was in college, like people who wanted to promote their parties put like little like pamphlets like in your car windshield wipers, so you could like go around and do that. I guess.
Oh man,
that's illegal.
That'd be so terrible, right? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person.
You can get in trouble for that.
Yeah, like that's.
Well, and you find probably like a local teacher store. There's got to be some kind of education store in your town where teachers go and spend a bunch of money when they don't want to go to Amazon or they don't have the time. You go there.
You know what? I just thought of this. The public library.
Mm-hmm. Or like putting something on Craigslist. I never thought of that. Like putting a post out to Craigslist like, hey.
Right.
That just popped in my brain.
Did either of you, I guess more Nicole, but did you talk to the other teachers at your school about it? Like, I'm doing a Donors Choose. Can you do what? Or even the parents that are in your class? Because I never mentioned it to my students or my parents.
Yeah, I didn't mention it to my parents because I did it over the summer before I got to my current school. But I think I know another school in North Carolina wanted to do alternative seating, like you had mentioned that. So they raised money through their parents. Like they had the kids plan out what they wanted their classrooms to look like, and then the kids actually took it home to their parents and said, hey, this is what we want our classrooms to look like. Can you donate money to help us? And the parents did. So
That's
kind of like getting the kids involved and then like literally having them ask their parents, like, this is what we want and this is what we need. Like having the voices come in. It's something similar to like the kids doing their own radio show. The kids are the ones who are asking for the money. So I think people are going to be more likely to invest if the kids are really, like Donors Choose has you write thank you notes from the kids. The kids write the thank you notes. They have pictures. But I think even the request coming from the kids is like a bigger step than a request coming from a teacher.
And, like you're saying, Nicole, having that marketing come from the parents themselves, I think is genius. Because all the connections that they have, the social media connections and everyone they know, I think passing it on to parents to promote it, it's also a really, really cool idea.
And that's another know your community thing too, because like the community that I'm my first year at my new school, so I'm just now learning my community, and I think that would totally work where I am now. The school that I just came from was a very low income area, so that I don't think that would have flown at all. Trying to do that even last year.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. It's a really interesting thought. It's a good idea. Have the kids, especially like the design your own classroom thing. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that was a very good idea. I also like as well that you made a point of making sure that the children wrote thank you letters, because that's very important as well, is to make sure that it is genuinely appreciated and it's not just taking money off people and so on.
Yeah, which is very hard. I teach in a low income area too, where our school's given a lot of things, and I mean the kids in general that I teach are given a lot of things. So when I expressed to them that we got these Chromebooks, it was just like another thing, and I was like, wait a minute, like these are my friends, my family, like anonymous people who went out of their way to give us these Chromebooks to make your education experience different this year. So it's kind of like a lesson for the kids too, and appreciation and gratitude, which gratitude is a character trait that we all try to foster in children. So I think it's a great opportunity to teach that too.
I had that exact same talk with my class when the box came. I like making YouTube videos, so I recorded the unwrapping of the Chromebooks because the kids didn't know that it was coming.
Fun.
And then it's one more thing that you can send to Donors Choose and be like, see, look, I got your stuff, and I'm really excited about it. My kids were really excited about it. But yeah, the video has like the whole, this is exactly what you said. This is from strangers who just want to help you learn, and that's so very cool of people. This is why we like humans.
Yeah. Doug, you were mentioning other teachers knowing about your project. In my experience, once a project is funded through Donors Choose, they send out emails to other teachers that have funded through Donors Choose. So they send out an email saying, so-and-so, Mr. C has received blah 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 from Donors Choose. Congratulate him. And I guess that's a way of making sure that you're legit, that that you really are in that school. So
yeah, my principal showed me the facts. Like they reached out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they just want to make sure you're real, right?
I work here, I promise.
Yeah, Donors Choose is very strict on knowing like things are being bought from the right companies and you're getting the exact right things and you're getting the best deals and that it's actually going to schools. It's really comforting for somebody who's donating a lot of money in order to do it through Donors Choose versus a crowdsourcing site like GoFundMe, where it's not like necessarily guaranteed that it's going, you hope, when people have integrity, but Donors Choose is very strict on the way that like it gets used in the classroom. There's even rules for like if you leave your role as a classroom teacher, what has to happen to the materials that are donated to that classroom. It's a really wonderfully organized system that makes a lot of people feel comfortable to donate.
That's one of the things that I really liked too, as someone who loses paper daily. And I hate dealing with money and stuff in my classroom. Donors Choose was like, you don't ever see the money. They give it to us. We go to the store. We buy your stuff. We mail it to you. You don't have to worry about it. I was like, yes, that makes that's so much. Scholastic needs to make sure they're on top of this too, because that's so awesome. That's exactly how I want money to run in my classroom. I never want to see it.
So do not like dealing with money in the classroom. So difficult. Yeah.
And I think that makes, like you were saying, people more comfortable. Oh, you're not going to spend this on a PlayStation 4 game. This money is going for Chromebooks, and that's what's going to be bought with it.
Right.
And they can see it, and they get like emails. I know because a lot of my family members donated, but they get like emails every time, like that you comment on their post. They get emails to know that the Chromebooks were shipped. They get emails to know that you received them. They get emails to know like that you posted a thank you letter. They get the handwritten thank you letters from the students. So the donors get to be as involved as they want to be. So that's pretty nice.
And I think it's important to mention like GoFundMe and stuff like that, because there are states and there are school districts that don't use Donors Choose, which blows my mind. At the end of last year, I did a professional development in Tennessee, and I was talking about my awesome chairs that I have, and I got them through Donors Choose, and you guys got to check out Donors Choose, and blah blah blah. And the principal's in the back of the room like, our state doesn't do. They're weird about getting money like that. So, okay, never mind.
Wait, Chris, so they can restrict a teacher from...
There are states and school districts that do not let you do Donors Choose stuff. I think Texas, and I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not sure this is 100% across the state, but there are places where you can't do stuff like Donors Choose. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Wow.
And I think part of it is like, school districts are paranoid that it sends a bad message, like because the teacher has to go out and fundraise on their own. That's telling the community that we aren't giving them enough. And you're not giving us enough. We need more. Especially because And what's frustrating about that is Donors Choose and anything that is a teacher-created crowdfunding thing is not the district is giving you a bunch of money for a thing. It's I need 6 Chromebooks, and these are things that I am absolutely going to use. It's not the district being like, here, I bought you some stuff, and and we're not going to train you on it, and you're not going to just have it if you want it. This is I need this. I need X. And I'm going to use X.
So it's not a Donors Choose specifically, like My Live School with Chris, like they would restrict that as well?
I'm not sure. I just know that in the conversations that I've had on Twitter and in professional developments, I've had teachers tell me that their district or their state is not cool with crowdsourced stuff. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they would let something like GoFundMe, or maybe they would let something like I raised money and I didn't tell anybody about it.
I think it's very interesting that you mentioned about how things are funded in schools. Yeah. It's very common still in the UK for teachers to buy their own school books. I don't know if it's a fear, maybe to go up to the school head and please, sir, can I have some more? It's interesting that sort of translates around.
But do you know any restrictions, Chris, in the UK as far as teachers crowdfunding?
I haven't come across any. No,
okay.
No, I haven't come across any. It's not a common phenomenon, if I'm honest. I can't imagine any teachers that have ever utilised crowdfunding to any sort for their school. It tends to be selling tea cakes. That seems to be the thing. So. Yeah, lots of school fates selling tea cakes. That's pretty much the extent of it.
It's like a combination of 2 of my wife's favorite things.
I want to move on to websites. I don't know if you guys have want to or can share out any particular websites that can help a teacher that's looking to get funded. As far as grants or anything like that is involved, I'm going to go ahead and share out a page, screen share, a page on Edutopia, and I'm going to provide a link to it as well on the show notes. So this is called the Big List of Educational Grants and Resources, and it, of course, on this screen is pretty small, but it provides a directory of grants that are available for teachers of all kinds of stuff, which is really cool. There is some of the deadlines are coming up. Some of the deadlines are October 1, 2 of the projects, 2 of the grants, but some of the other stuff is stuff that teachers can still get involved with. The NEA Learning and Leadership Grant. There's the math grants from NCTM. There's some really cool stuff. There's even a $1 million, I think I saw in here, $1 million award.
It's not there anymore. They've already awarded that to me. I'm sorry.
No, there was some huge prize on here, but I definitely recommend checking this out. It's called the Big List of Educational Grants and Resources. And I clicked on them, and they're active. So I know that when you look up grants and things like that, some of this stuff is old, but this was updated September 27th, 2015. So it was just updated, and I believe they keep updating this page. So I'm going to go ahead and tweet it out, and I'm going to make it available in the show notes. So I'm going to stop sharing and see if you guys have anything else as far as resources for teachers, websites or anything like that.
I don't, but I will take notes.
Yeah, definitely. Place to go is what is it called, Chris? MyLifeSchool.org.
My Life School, yeah. So it's a free school radio resource. You get your starter kit, which gives you the software and all the audio you need. There's a massive community. I say massive. It's a massive small community. to support you. If it's the first time you've ever got involved in anything like this, the airtime is free of charge. It's and just come along. It's not just for raising money. You can use it to have an extra club running in the background. It's however you, as a teacher, and more importantly, your pupils want to make the most of it. So whatever's going to be benefiting their education.
It sounds cool. What a cool sales pitch. Now, Doug, do your sales pitch. I know you have some cool books out there that teachers.
Oh, am I selling my? Am I promoting myself? Because I will do that all day long. I was going to talk before I try to tell you guys how awesome my 2 books are. He's the Weird Teacher and the Teaching Text You're Welcome, available on Amazon. I was going to say a buddy of mine named Brian Costello raised money going through a local business of his, which is why I tried to do that with my second Donors Choose. And I didn't get any bites, but there's got to be businesses, if you're trying to raise money, that want to help teachers. And I'm going to keep looking out for that kind of things and asking around. And then there's also, at least at my school, there's a grant going through, so I'm going to all of those meetings because you got to do the legwork if you want to raise some money. So I'm going to all of the meetings, and they're like, what kind of stuff does your school need? And people are saying, we want better faucets, and we want more windows. And I'm in the back going, I want computer and a 3D printer and a Sphero and a drone, and can I have all the things, please? I promise I will use them. Going to meetings like that and just kind of keeping your ears open, because there are people who want to give you money, but you don't know that they exist, so you have to look for them, and I'm kind of constantly on the lookout for stuff like that.
Right. I think if you're a teacher and you have something really cool happening in your classroom and you write it up and you make a really good plan for it, I think you can get funded for it. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that are willing to help you out to make it happen. As
Absolutely.
long as it's useful to the students, it can happen. I really think it can. So.
And you tie it back to the kids. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I was going to say, if you partner with like some other nonprofits that are involved in your school, like I know United Way is involved in our school pretty heavily. Not that they're just going to donate money to you, but they'll help with some service learning projects if that's the type of thing you want to get funded for your students. If you want to get mentors for them or take them on field trips, I think that businesses can help with that, like waiving fees for field trips. We like to do at our school Junior Achievement, which is run through Junior Achievement, and then they have like business professionals who volunteer their time. PWCA came to our school last year. There were accountants who came and talked to our students free of charge, but it's just like an experience. I think if you're looking to create an experience for your kids rather than just trying to buy things.
Right.
It's all about asking. Like that's what I learned from the first Donors Choose thing, is just you can't say I'm never going to be able to do this. You might as well try, and if it doesn't fund, it doesn't fund. But if it does, then you have Chromebooks or Spheros or a speaker or a trip or a thing, and that's so cool. And it's better to have tried.
And if you explain,
it's not going to work, nobody's going to give me money. You'll be shocked how cool people are.
And if you explain, I was just going to say, if you explain your vision to the public, I think they can make it happen. Go ahead, Nicole. Sorry.
I was going to say, talking about cool people. Now it just ended, but to plant the seed for next year, because this is something I've done 2 years in a row. If you go to Reddit Gifts, every August they have a Reddit gift exchange. Well, it's a one-way gift exchange. Somebody on Reddit gets paired with a teacher, and you create a list, and they buy you stuff and send it to you.
Wow.
It's awesome. So, like, I did it the past 2 years, and I got way more than I asked for. They typically say, like, oh, they'll donate, like, $20, but the things that I got have been over hundreds of dollars that my anonymous Reddit donors have gifted me. So, like, this year I asked for either headphones for my Chromebooks or some books for my classroom that would get my boys reading. So, like, a Diary of the Wimpy Kid book or something like that. And the He got me the whole pack of Diary Kid books. He got me 5 headphones. He got me 2 huge packets of Post-its. Like, way more than I asked for, but just the generosity of awesome people is from Reddit. It's so cool. So plant the seed. That's a gift exchange that comes around in August. So all you have to Google is Reddit gift exchange for teachers.
So Reddit
has subreddits for education too. So that's another place to put in your donors choose thing that we didn't think about.
Nicole, can you do me the favor of tweeting that out with the hashtag EduLive?
Yes.
The link to that, so I can start building. And if you remember any other thing that you that's for everyone that would be helpful to teachers, go ahead and tweet it out with EduLive, because I'm going to make a list in the show notes of resources for teachers.
Yeah,
so,
Nicole, and make sure you tweet to me so I follow you. Do I follow you?
Okay, sure will. I don't know. I definitely follow you.
I how to follow you.
I'm pretty cool. You should. I'm like unknown.
So, Doug,
everybody follow Nicole. What is your Twitter, Nicole?
Oh, it's NLM Teach at NLM Teach.
Everybody hear that? At NLM Teach.
And while we're at it, Chris, go ahead and tell us your Twitter handle.
It's well, so I started using Twitter without knowing how to use Twitter, so I've got one of those annoying underscore ones. My_live_school.
My Life School with underscores between it. And Doug, tell us yours again.
Doug, like I'm speaking in the third person. Doug's Twitter account is at the Weird Teacher. And everything, if you search the Weird Teacher, except for on YouTube. No, actually, I pop up now on YouTube too. That's probably gonna be me. I've locked that brand down pretty well. So my blog is he'stheweirdteacher.blogspot.com. I have a chat that's hashtag WeirdEd. That's Wednesday nights at 7 Pacific. We also have one that's 7 Central. That's ending in 4 minutes. I'm on Instagram. I think I'm the Weird Teacher on Instagram, and that's going to be a combination of stuff from my classroom and adorable pictures of my own 2 small children. Which Nicole was telling me.
Which is totally worth a follow, by the
way. And then just to sell my stuff, because as long as I have a captive audience, I might as well.
That was 2 books, is that right, Doug? Tell me about those. I'm not sure I've heard about them.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, my first book is called He's the Weird Teacher, and it's a teaching philosophy book. It's not going to teach you how to teach fractions better. It's going to teach you how to think about teaching fractions and how to think about your students. It's full of funny stories and interesting stories, and be yourself in the classroom, and how can you be weird on your own, and how can you foster that in your kids. Nice. And then the second one is a satire. It's called The Teaching Text, You're Welcome. And that's kind of a takeoff on all of the teacher books that we've ever read, where the author is very obviously telling you, I'm an excellent teacher, and you should do everything that I say in this book, without saying that out loud during the book. And The Teaching Text You're Welcome says that out loud. The first line of the book is, the 3 greatest teachers who ever existed were Socrates, Yoda, and me. So
nice,
that's kind of the way, and I make it very clear right at the beginning of that book that this is a joke. This is not actually how I feel. All of this is supposed to be funny. It's satire, which makes I have 1-star review on Amazon for that, and the 1-star review says, this was not what I expected it to be. You didn't know? Okay. So that's
for those Amazon reviews.
That's the 2 books, and then, like I said, I'm also the chief editor for Q. So if you go to blog.q.org, you'll see a bunch of my writing and a bunch of writing from some of the best educators around the internet.
Nice. Nicole,
that's my long commercial.
Where's your commercial? What do you got going on?
I don't got a commercial. My commercial is, let's get my Twitter followers up. So follow me at NLM Teach.
I just
I'm
followed
just a
you.
newbie. I know, I saw that. I'm super pumped about that. So I'm just a teaching newbie, so I don't have any long list of exciting things. But I guess look out for me. Hopefully one day I'll be as cool as these other two guys.
You got to come to my chat tonight.
Hey, there you go.
All right. Which
More
chat?
educational opportunities.
Is it the weird chat or weird Ed? I was on that one time. I think I lurked that one time because I'm not weird enough, I don't think.
Oh, you got to come play.
Put the condition in. Put the condition in. No, I'm not going to come to the chat until you follow me back. All right.
He did. So I'm pretty. I'm like.
Can I just very quickly echo what Doug and Nicola have mentioned about the importance of just asking and stepping up and the fact that there are what was the word you said? Awesome people. That's right.
Awesome humans. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's one individual in particular that really stood out during the fundraiser that actually donated £800, which I think is about $1,200 ish.
Wow.
Yeah. So
don't you guys have money there?
His name is Beats, and he's a teacher in Sweden. There's schools all over the country, all over the world, even listening in. So thank you very much to you, sir, for your very kind donation. But there's always somebody out there who's willing to help. So yeah, just to echo that, and
that is really cool.
Yeah,
that is really cool. Okay, so it's my turn. So I want to tell you about the upcoming shows that we have at Teachers Talk Live and TeachCow overall. October 7th, Teachers Talk Live returns with Making Sense of Homework. So we're going to talk all about homework. The good parts about homework, some people say that it shouldn't be there. Some people say it's too much. Some people say it's too little. We're going to explore that. Then the following Wednesday, so we're on Wednesdays, actually Tuesday, Dr. Goins goes live with the Going Digital show all about school leaders. So he will be on October 13th, and the next day, October 14th, I'm back on with Exploring Learning Styles. So these should be really interesting shows, so I hope you guys keep up with them on teachcow.com. Use the hashtag EduLive to share out content. And what else? And check out the Parent Zone. Parent Zone is a blog by Carrie Bauckham on teachcow.com that's all about the parent perspective for a lot of these topics that we're hitting on. So, you guys, so any last words? Anything that we did not cover? Anything that remember? You can tweet anything out with EduLive. If we forgot anything that you want to add, go ahead and add it, because I want to make a resource page for all this stuff. So, Nicole, Doug, and Chris, anything else that we've left out?
I would just say, if you're watching and you have a Donors Choose, tweet it to us, and we will boost that.
Yes.
Because that is something that needs. Those kind of things need to be boosted. That's I'll retweet pictures of corgis all day because they're adorable. But like, Donors Choose stuff is stuff that that needs to be boosted. That needs to be shared.
Yes, please go ahead and do that. Anyone listening, please go ahead and let us know about your project through with the hashtag EduLive. Anyone else?
It's probably a million and one things I'm going to think of as soon as we go off. So I'll just tweet it across as soon as as it comes to me. I'm going to go to bed now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning now. I have to be up for work in 4 hours.
A special thank you to Chris for being on, Chris Thomas. It is way past his bedtime. He's in the UK. So.
Yeah, I did my beauty state with the eyes and polish my hair.
Polish my hair.
Nicole, anything else that we've left out?
No, this has been really fun and the best way to spend a Wednesday. I liked hanging out with you guys and being the only girls, so thanks.
Thank you all very much, and remember to go ahead and watch on teachcow.com. We have a schedule on there of upcoming shows. We need your participation. This is a teacher forum, so we want to educate and help out and collaborate as much as possible. So thank you all for watching, and if our guests could stay on for a little bit longer, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Tune in to our live interactive programming every Wednesday at teachcow.com. You may email us at teachcow@gmail.com, under Twitter at teachcow, Facebook teachcow, and Google Plus Oscar Staten. On the website, you may find our other social media at teachcow.com. And if you would like to become a panelist on our show, we welcome you to contact us through teachcow.com. Thank you very much.